welcome to lecture 1 of module 1. In module 1, we will be covering Python from scratch. So I'm assuming that you don't have any prior programming language, so we will be starting from the scratch. So we have already discussed how to download Jupyter Notebook and how to download Python. So we are just starting coding from here. We have already learned the introduction of what is Python and what is Jupyter Notebook. So we are directly starting from the basic commands of the Python. The first command that we are going to learn is the print function. Print function is used whenever you have to display some message on the screen of the output. Just like if I want to print 3 plus 4, so I will just write print 3 plus 4, and to execute command I will just press shift and enter. If you press shift and enter, it will just execute the line. You can see line 1 is written there. That means this line has been processed and this code has been run. And now 3 plus 4 is 7, so that is why the interpreter has printed 7 there. And you can also print some messages in a string, like string means just a text, like hello everyone, and if you press shift and enter, it will just execute the command and move to the next cell. So after learning the print command, we should learn how to comment in Python. So comment are just writing to comment. We just write comment to just memorize that what we are doing here. These lines are just ignored by the Python interpreter. These are just for you, that you remember, okay, what this code will do. Just like in Python, you just write hash symbol to write the codes. So this is a comment. So if I press shift and enter, so you can see that there is no output because Python has ignored this line. But if I write this without any hash, the hash sign, this is a comment, now I will get an error because Python says this is invalid syntax. There is no command like this and is a comment. So this is how we comment. So this is called a single line comment. Like if I'm writing some command like print, this is a sample sentence, and in the end I can just write comment that this command prints the message. So you can see the interpreter has just printed this is a sample sentence, nothing else. So these are just comments to make you memorize that what this code is actually doing, or what are you going to do, or maybe if someone else is the reader of this program, then he or she has an idea that what is this code actually doing. Okay, so this was a single line comment. But if you want to do multi-line comment, just like if you need to write some paragraph or some information, so in that Python doesn't have any default multi-line commenting system, but there is an alternative. You just write 3 quotations, 1 2 3, and if you press enter, so these are not 3 quotations, if you press enter, and then whatever you write, like this is a multi-line comment, and then if you close these 3 quotations, so now Python will not execute anything. You can see the Python will just consider this as, I'm just erasing one error, Python will consider this is just a multi-line comment, right? So there will be no effect in our program by using this. Okay, this next thing that we need to learn, that is the variables. So variables are just like a piece of container in which you can place some value, and then you can use that value for later purpose, and we don't know what will be the value here. That's why we say it is a variable. So if you want to create a variable, you just use equal sign. That is called the assignment operator. So just like I'm just selecting a cell, and if I press B, it will add a new cell below. So I'm just making a variable just like x is equal to 3. So Python will consider that wherever we write x, so instead of writing x, Python will use 3. If I press shift enter, so it will execute the command, and if I press alter and enter, so it will execute the command and also give me a new line to write. So I can just write print x. So since the value of x is 3, the Python has printed 3 there. And even you can just like do a lot of practice in this, like x is equal to, now I'm adding another cell, so I'm pressing B, x is equal to 4, and now if I print x, so initially the value of x was 3, but now I have told Python that now x is 4. So if I press print, if I run the print command, it will print 4, because Python always update the value whenever you are assigning the same variable another value. Now changing how we change the variable value, just like we did it here. If x is 3 and if I just write x is equal to 4, so the value of the variable will be changed. And you must remember that whatever the last assignment is there, so variable will have that value. Whatever the previous values are there, they will be removed from the memory of the Python. So let's have another example. If I say x is equal to, or n is equal to 9, and then I say n is equal to 3, and if I print n, so I will get 3. Now rules of naming a variable. So there are several rules, like the first rule is you cannot have a variable name starting with a number. Like if I just say 4y is equal to 9. So if I press enter, you can see invalid decimal literal. So you can write y4 equal to 9 like this, but the name of variable cannot start with a number. The second thing is you cannot have spaces in the variable names. Just like if I say y space I is equal to 9, so this is not a valid command. So if you want to add spaces, then you can just use the underscore thing, like y underscore I, sorry, I pressed enter instead of shift. So y underscore I is equal to 9. So you can see it is not returning any error there. So means you can write that. And there are other several ways, like my variable is equal to 0. So this is also a naming convention, or my underscore variable is equal to 9. So that is also a convention. Or the numbers can be written in the end but not in the start. So these are the rules of naming a variable. Now we have learned how to print the message, we have learned how to make variables, but suppose we want user to input the value of a variable instead of us. Like in these examples, we were defining that n is 9, n is 3, but I want my user of this program to input a number, and then that will be the value of the variables. So for this purpose, we use the input command. So I can just say input, and if I just press enter, so look, the interpreter is asking me for a value. If I press 4 and press enter, so the command has been executed. And if you want to save this result in a variable, so I can say x is equal to input, and then now if I press any number, so that number has been saved in the x variable. And if you want to give a message to the user so that he knows that he has to input a number, so you can just write x is equal to input and then write your message, like enter a number, and add space so that user has a space after the message. So look, enter a number, and then the user enters 5. So this is the input command. And now if you want to use that input to print, so we know that for output we use the print command, so you can just write print x, so the value of x is 5, or we can just make an example, just like x is equal to input, enter your name, and then y is equal to input, enter your city. Now after entering this, we will print welcome and then comma, and then the whatever the name he has entered, and that name has been saved in the variable x. So welcome and then his name, and then you can print another message like how is your city, and then we should add space. City, the name of city was y, and then another space or apostrophe s, or because if you are using the single quotation, you must use the backslash sign. Backslash sign is just like a escape key, so apostrophe s will be printed. So how is your city, like Karachi or whatever the person will enter, weather? Now if I press shift and enter, the command will be executed. So if I say enter your name, I say Asad, enter the city, I say Karachi. So now the message is, welcome Asad, how is your city Karachi's weather? So this is how we take input from the user, and then we can use we can save that input in a variable, and then that variable can be used for later purpose. So we are ending lecture 1 here.